having me. Appreciate it. So the piece I picked is called Blue by Jonice H., grade 12. It's moody. Like I consume her being, halting the manifestation of her dreams. I leave her to float in a limbo of obscurity, controlling her destiny with the simplest words. I create the void in her soul, dangling in despair. She's desperate to see the light of day, desperate and in disarray. I leave her, stripped of desire, lowering her eyes to accept the fall. I smile at the sight in bittersweet sorrow.
What?
Blue.
I don't think I could have wrote that. 12th grade.
12-year-old wrote that?
Probably not. Okay, so yeah, this is a scene from my novel in progress, When Sex Goes Wrong. Not that I know. When Sarah laughs in bed, it's a 3-part harmony. Ha, ha, ha. I tease her about that, the way she sounds like a supervillain stroking a cat. Then she'll say, oh, all right, before we start getting down and nullifying any need for conversation. But that signature, oh, all right, doesn't feel remotely imminent, and I can feel the tension in her bones. It's like something's exploded inside, and she's putting up a half-hearted front to conceal the damage, a public relations person wanting to be caught lying at the press conference. This laugh is not carefree. What are you laughing at, I say, and start rolling up her shirt and kissing her stomach. I fiddle around with her belly button ring, twisting and turning that smooth blue stone that she said she got in tribute to Sonic the Hedgehog, her best friend in grammar school. She calls the ring her Chaos Emerald. Hey, she says, and slaps my hand away. What? I hate when you do that. Well, how am I supposed to know? Now you do. Okay. How do you figure that would feel good to me? It feels like someone pulling around my guts. I thought it turns you on. How would that turn me on? Now I know. I roll off her body and lay beside her at the head of the bed. She pushes herself off the cushion with both hands and walks over to the veranda. She shuts the glass doors and opens the thermostat panel. There goes Mrs. Freeze. Well, why sweat in a 5-star room? Defeats the whole purpose, no? And she jabs down hard on the button. Yes, don't you mean yes? I like that little thing, saying no when you mean yes. That's an Italian thing, yes? She doesn't answer, just staring as coldly at me as she's making the room. Now we won't be able to hear the birds outside. It's just seagulls eating trash. I don't like feeling so, I don't know. Like I'm in a cube or some shit. What the hell does that mean, in a cube? I want to hear I like feeling, I don't know. You want the room cold as a fish, then fine. Cold as a fish? You mean a dead fish? Or do live fish have a low body temperature? Educate me. Have you been watching a lot of Nat Geo behind my back or some shit? Okay, I see where this is. Where is it? Let's look. What's wrong, Sarah? She has a face on like that answer should be obvious, and an explanation would defeat her whole purpose. Then she takes off her shirt like I'm not even looking. She walks into the bathroom, runs the water. I'm going down the beach to read, she says over the faucet. With that, my groin starts aching. Really? She turns off the faucet so I know I heard right and walks back out of the bathroom wearing her green bikini. She lifts her sunglasses from the top of the television and slides them onto her face. She mistakes the remote control for her cell phone and slams it back onto the cable box when she almost puts it into her pocketbook. Where's my phone? I don't answer. When we got into the room, I hid her phone underneath the pillows while she walked out onto the veranda to clean up my mess of an empty protein shake and scattered newspaper pages from the morning. For some reason, when I'm traveling, I like to do the crossword puzzle with my breakfast. I never do the puzzles in New York, but trying to figure out those exact words seems to settle me into wherever else I find myself. And if I can't find the right word, I wouldn't find it anywhere, not at home either. So why worry where I am? Haven't seen it, I say, thumbing my fingernails. She's looking right at the spot where I substituted the remote control for her cell phone. I left it right here, she accuses. Weird. Malcolm, I'm talking to my boss. Why is he bothering you when you're on vacation? Because I'm not supposed to be on vacation, she snaps. We're both quiet. The only thing talking in the room now is the AC. It envelops us in an appropriate decibel of dead air. I'm not sure what to do. I take off my tank and throw it on the side of the bed. Come here, girl, I say tenderly. Malcolm, no, you don't understand. What? I was supposed to write a story while I was here about Reginald Kim's brother, and I needed fresh quotes. Man, again with this Reginald Kim guy, it's the biggest scandal of the decade in Queens politics. So what does that make it? One of the least important scandals of the decade overall? Almost 2 million more people live in Queens than Miami, she says. Then she puts her hand to her mouth, leans back against the blank television, and starts breathing rapidly, like she could cry but would rather suffocate. Baby, I say, launching myself over to her from the bed like coming out of a slingshot. Baby, what? She says between the tears she can't stop from falling. You don't give a shit about what I do. You'd rather me be some whore you met on a music video set. I have a real job, okay? And it was only going to be cool for me to come here and spend the week with you if I could write this story. Now this asshole's brother's actually with him in New York, and that intern is going to write the story, and they're going to fire me. Relax, all right? Nothing you're saying is true. I love that you're smart. Oh yeah, I'm really smart, she says, and wipes some snot from underneath her nose. She turns from me and looks at that painting of the canal above the headboard. I'm so smart, I'm here drinking margaritas with you and wearing a bikini while I'm about to be fired for not covering the biggest story of my career. But you don't even like being a reporter, I say, backing into the thermostat and turning up the room temperature. She whirls around and I pull my finger from the button quicker than concealing a push-off downfield. It doesn't matter if I like it. This is what I do. This is what I'm good at. That ain't true. You're good at writing plays. I'm not. So it doesn't matter what I think. No. It doesn't matter that you got a college degree for that shit. Fuck no. Well, all right. That's a lot of meaningless time spent. Exactly, she says. And through her tears, she manages to laugh. She opens the cabinet to the mini fridge and pulls out one of those Mexican beers she likes to drink. She cracks open the can and rushes into the alcohol, spilling some down her chin. I sit on the foot of the bed. Though we're obviously in crisis mode, it wouldn't hurt to fucking forget. I can't think of anything encouraging, nothing that would sound real if I said it. Being a woman in a newsroom might be similar to being black in most other jobs. It doesn't take much to be let go. And what's happened to her certainly sounds like enough. My mother got fired from the post office because she missed the shift to be at my semifinal senior year of high school. Nobody would switch hours because everybody was jealous of her having me for a son. That was supposed to be their pathetic bit of revenge, preventing her from seeing me lead Cypress High to the Los Angeles Coliseum for the state championship. The older I got, the fewer true friends my mother seemed to have. But that can happen when you're from somewhere like I am. Once people start seeing you getting out instead of staying in, you're no longer one of them. I'm wondering right now if I should talk about my mother, but I don't know how that would make anything better. Why can't I come with you to see your father, to meet your father? It's been a long time since I even saw the man, I answer without hesitation. So? Let's take one thing at a time. What if what? I reply sharply. What if he doesn't show? What if he's loaded if he does? What if he has some nasty shit to say? There are no what ifs with my father. I've seen the show too many times. I want to be there for you, she says, and starts crushing the can in her palm. But I don't need you there. Sarah nods her head. Then she launches the can straight at that canal. The whole frame falls down. The beer rebounds back toward me, skittering across the bed and wetting down the blanket and mattress. I thought I'd seen Sarah angry. There was that time we were visiting her mother for lunch and I wore my black hoodie and sweatpants after showering at the gym. She was dumbfounded that I dressed so casually and remained silent through the entire ride to Queens. When it all went down, I figured I made a mistake. One of those situations where you aren't sure what you've been thinking while setting the plan. But in hindsight, I think I liked the idea of wearing that hoodie on that crisp autumn afternoon. I wanted her mother to see me as I see myself, not someone looking to have a perfect audition for a part I'd never be casted for. I still remember walking down the block to the cafe and seeing her mother's expression when she saw me with her daughter. We'd met twice before, and the first dinner at the steakhouse I wore a suit. The second was lunch at her actual house, and that time I went with my blue jeans and a turtleneck. She still hasn't called me by my name, not once. To Sarah's mother, my name is you. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you again. And the entire time I know she's thinking, why is my daughter with you? After that hoodie lunch, Sarah seemed to abandon the idea of her mother ever accepting me. And she was angrier with her mother after that. I can tell by the telephone calls. I can tell by the way we haven't met with her since. Even still, she wanted me to dress better for that last occasion, and I thought that silence and the way she punched off the radio, coincidentally playing one of Janelle's songs, were as angry as she could be. Turns out I never really had seen my girlfriend angry before. I look down at the leaking can as it empties out onto the blue carpet soaking between my toes. Good thing we have 4 different bedrooms. She doesn't smile. She's looking straight toward the bare wall where that painting had been framed. Why am I here, Malcolm? I move closer and peck a couple kisses on her neck. We face each other and start to kiss. The kisses are long and hot with our tongues churning in each other's mouths. I wanted her to stay in this moment with me, so I reach down and grab hold of her with both my hands, pressing the bikini bottom even tighter against her skin. I back her up until she's down on the beer-soaked bed, and we're where we started, except this time I rush to undress myself, and then I do the same with her. I cover her whole face with kisses while I enter. The beer is dripping down the wall and forming a puddle on the pillows, seeping into her hair. This is ridiculous, she says. Wait, I say. I start moving harder and faster, but she remains completely still, as if she's a tourist to her own body and doesn't know me at all. Come on, I say. Our faces are close enough for our noses to be touching. Her nostrils are wet from the crying. I put my lips inches from her lips, and she doesn't kiss my lips. She is staring deeply into my eyes, like she's trying to see something in them that she thought she saw before, and I'm still moving, but it feels futile without her. What are you doing? Come on. What? You know what I mean. What? What do you mean? I mean, this is pointless if you aren't into it. Pointless? Yeah, it's fucking pointless, okay? Well, why shouldn't I just lay here and take it? That's what I'm here for, right? I'm not here to actually be your girlfriend. I'm not here to do anything with meaning. I'm just supposed to wait in this room and lay here and take it, so that's what I'm doing. I never knew how unemotional and articulate she could be with me inside her, like a 0 on her scoreboard. I can't take her eyes anymore, so I turn my head down toward my chest and look at my cock. It's still as hard as can be, despite the whole exercise being rendered vain. My cock looks idiotic in this sense, like a guest showing up to a party in a tuxedo despite not even having an invitation. And by extension, I feel idiotic too, just like I felt on Silverman's yacht, except far worse because I love Sarah and the only reason I care about any of them is their money. I stop moving. I'm still as she's still. I take her by her shoulders and I return to her eyes as intensely as she was investigating mine. I love you, okay? She puts her hands against the bed and pulls herself up against the headboard. She's off me. That sounds good, Sarah says. That's all? Is it?